Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Only today we are talking about what was Honeycomb and what is to come. Stick around. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Okay, folks, so feel free to watch the YouTube video right behind me here, but it's really sort of just advertising the name. So let's talk about some of the things that happened. For those of you who may have missed it, the two primary Honeycomb owners had a big fallout. There was some potential for some not so great legal things that happened, and with one of the owners, it was quite the story. But essentially what happened, what it caused, was basically Honeycomb fell apart. They couldn't meet the requirements. They couldn't fill orders, blah, blah, blah. One of the owners, Nikki, has, and I believe that he was genuinely the one to try to make all this work. He has started a new company called Nvme GMT, and it stated that he is backed by a very big name in the industry for gaming and development and both hardware and software, it sounds like. They didn't give what that name is or who that is. But what we do know is that there is a new line coming. And I think this is huge because one of my biggest things when it came to Honeycomb in general was that the community needed them. The community needed Honeycomb. And the reason why a community needed Honeycomb is because of what Honeycomb did. Honeycomb offered a very good quality product that was feature rich, that was well built, that was comfortable to use, easy to use, that was easily modified, for really whatever use that you wanted it to be. Let me move that out of the way. I'm not sure why that's... There we go. Let's move that there. While bringing the cost down. There wasn't any real competition in good quality flight simulation controls before Honeycomb hit the market. You had Logitech, and I think Logitech's either one of those things where you either love them or you hate them. I am very anti-Logitech. Their yoke, I thought, was by a lot. Same thing with their throttle sets. I bought their throttle sets. I had their yoke. I personally use all this stuff, and I personally bought it years ago with my own money, and very much so experienced buyer's remorse. So what's happening now with Nvme GMT? Nvme GMT is not going to be you're not going to be seeing the Bravo, the Alpha, the Charlie. It sounds like they are just done. I'm willing to bet that once they run out of product line, we're not going to see them anymore. I know occasionally you can still find them on Amazon, but be careful because it sounds like they are still very much Honeycomb. It's still very much having fulfillment issues. So if you do happen to see one, I would stick with a site like Amazon or something like that. Be careful where you purchase any Honeycomb products from because it sounds like there are still a lot of fulfillment issues in regard to the name Honeycomb. So Nick Rapenny, I think it is, and forgive me if I blew the name off or blew the name apart there. Goes by Nikki. Reached out to a new developer, a new partner, a major backer, he said, as we quoted, to deliver exactly what his dream was for Honeycomb once again. Good, quality, innovative designs for flight simulation controls for both the enthusiast and the general consumer. So this weekend is FS weekend in Leilstad. And FS Elite is going to be covering the live stream on Sunday the 16th. And when I have more, I will be posting that both here on YouTube in the community listing as well as on my Discord. So make sure you guys join the Discord once they have a link. But you guys can check out FS Elite's website, and it also states it there. And they'll be using their FS Hub to do a live stream where Nikki releases, or I should say showcases, the first lineup of products for Nvme GMT. Again, I'm very, very excited for this. I think the community needs this. I think we needed his product line. Things I'm hopeful for, I'm hoping that he sort of took what he learned from the products that we have, like, for example, the Bravo. The Bravo was an amazing product. At the same token, I didn't like the overall design of it. I hope that there's some design changes. And it's one of those things like where, like, I don't even know necessarily what I would change, as stupid as that sounds. But I hope the layout is a little bit different than what it is, but I still hope it maintains the features. As far as the yoke goes, I hope we see a bit stronger build on the yoke. I hope they get rid of that sort of rubber overlay, that rubbery texture. Even the Bravo here has it. And that's because it gets dirty very, very easily. Got dirty very quickly. And it got little scummy just from your hands, rubbing on it, whatever. So I'd like to see them get rid of the... I'm really hoping that means that the honeycomb backing is gone, because I live in Tucson, Arizona, so the dust level gets ridiculous. And it was really hard to keep the honeycomb alpha clean. So I hope that they do a different design to that. I hope they give it a more authentic look, I think is what I'm hoping for the honeycomb. Or for the Meridian GMT. I really hope they go more on the authentic side of things and try to make it look very, very much so like it came out of a cockpit. Is what I'd like to see the most. For the yoke, if they did, I'm assuming that they're going to do another yoke lineup. I really would be shocked if they don't. I hope that we see like a bit more lighting controls and things like that. Some of the more common things that get missed. But I am really, really excited. I was really happy to hear about this, and when I caught this video, to see that they're coming back around. Because I think Nicky had a really good mission. I think what he was aiming to do for the flight sim community was a necessity. And the reason why it was a necessity is it created competition. And it created competition in the price market. Like, for example, the same thing Winwing is doing, and the same thing Moza is going to do. I guarantee Moza is going to shake the industry here. They have a huge announcement coming on the 18th. Make sure you guys watch out for that. I can tell you right now that their product line is going to turn some heads with this coming week. I can't tell you what everything is yet. Some of you may have already caught a glimpse on it by accident as far as one of the products, but there's a lot of really awesome stuff coming out of the Moza warehouse. But like what Winwing is doing, for example, I have no problem just saying it as it is, because it was a good thing in my opinion, and Wing Flex gets some props for doing what they did. Wing Flex take their Airbus FCP, okay? Winwing turns around and develops an FCP. The Wing Flex FCP was like, I think it was just shy of $900. Then Winwing launches their version of the FCP, which you can get all the pieces in the whole unit for right around $300, give or take. Within a month or two, Wing Flex dropped the price of their FCP by just over $200. And that's exactly why we need Meridian. That's exactly why we need developers like Nicky, because if you don't have competition, you can charge whatever you want. And don't get me wrong. Let me make it very clear. Wing Flex makes an amazingly well-built product. They are one of the developers that it looks like it came out of the real Airbus. But not everybody's looking for that. And you can't go solely on that. And when you don't have enough competition out there developing what you're developing, well, then you can charge whatever you want. And for a while they could, and they earned it. I mean, it's a wonderful product. It's a beast. It's significantly heavier than the Winwing products, for example. But Winwing works for, I would say, 90% of the flight simulation market. And when you have that big of a price point for essentially the same feature list. They look different. Again, there's difference in the sizes and the weights and maybe the tactile feel. But when it comes to the feature list and what they are physically capable of doing, they can both do pretty much the same thing. And so looks and overall design isn't necessarily going to be worth a $500 to $600 price point difference. And that's what we were seeing before with the flight controls. Yokes are something that are really small commodity, for example. You don't have a lot of options right now. You used to have CH Pro. I think they're just gone. You have the Logitech. You have Turtle Beach, the Turtle Beach yoke. But again, when you take the Turtle Beach yoke, for example, again, I'm not knocking it. It's great. In my opinion, it is a wonderful device for Xbox. But like even the yoke handles, when you go to move it, they flexed, they moved. They were very lightweight. They were very flexy. They weren't that strong material that we're used to seeing in a flight simulation that the Honeycomb Alpha brought. The Honeycomb Alphas were very strong. They felt sturdy. They felt good in your hands. And they still had all the rotation and the features that we needed, and they felt solid. But they were at a price point that was reasonable. Even when the Honeycomb Bravo and the Alpha increased in price from $259 to $279, I still felt that was more than worth it for what they offered. The product itself was solid, and still far below any competition that was out there for a good sound product. And then the quality was above anyone else that was in the same price point. Again, no offense to Turtle Beach at all, none intended here. But if you compared the Alpha, the Honeycomb Alpha, to the Turtle Beach, to the Logitech, both Turtle Beach and Logitech, they get knocked out of the park because they're in the same price point, but nowhere near the same quality and build that Honeycomb and Alpha had. Now, I'm not going to say that Honeycomb didn't have their issues. You know, I think all products at some point have something that makes you go, you know, but for the most part, they were really solid. And so the fact that we're getting Nicky back in the industry, I think he's someone that's crucial and needed. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video. I have never received anything free from Honeycomb. Any Honeycomb, my Bravo, I bought it. You know, so I just want to make that very clear. It's just their product is something that we need. We need that kind of competition, so that way that continues to drive the ingenuity. We continue to get further development, new designs, new thoughts, new additions, and people like Nicky and developers like Nicky can keep the price point at a point where we can still afford to buy them. And especially right now where everything is so expensive and all the political craziness going on and the tariff wars and back and forth, like I think things are already going to be more expensive. So we need developers like him more than ever. So I think this is really, really super exciting. I'm really glad to hear this. I will be tuning into that live stream on Sunday. And seeing what his new lineup is about, because I'm really excited to see what he's going to come up with next. Tell me what you guys think down below. As always, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.